It's the end of the world, man. Pack your bags. Go buy some tuna cans. Get some beans. Get some bread, flour, maybe, because Bitcoin just dipped below the 30,
Hey
man.
man, yo, real quick, just before we start, I
Uh,
just want to ask you for a favor.
we're
Like,
actually live. Don't
I'm
say
filling
anything
out my
stupid. It's the end
McDonald's
of the world,
application,
man.
so if I
Go
can
ahead,
get
my
some,
bad. Go ahead.
uh, if I can just, I was just hoping for your help. Could I use you as a reference for my McDonald's application? I'm
Mm-hmm.
currently filling out the resume as we speak, and so
Right.
I just kind of need a reference. And so,
Yeah.
could you,
Yeah.
would I be able to use you as a reference?
No, don't ever associate yourself with me.
Okay, okay, and that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, I get it. I get it.
I get it.
Oh, man.
Oh, folks.
Holy. Bitcoin's below,
So
man.
Bitcoin has put in a lower low. We have broken all layers of support. We have lost volume. We have lost fibs. We have lost moving averages. We have lost lows. Bitcoin is bearish. And look, man, you guys know me if you've been watching the channel. I'm a perma bull. But at this point, I think there's more evidence leaning more bearish than not. Since we put in a lower low, because a lower low is bearish confirmation of a macro downtrend. What do you think,
Right.
man? So how's your day?
My days though is going good, man. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just another day in the office, but maybe I became like desensitized. You know, when you're in
Right.
a very toxic relationship. Now, overall, whatever happens, it's like yeah, sure, mm,
It's
another
like
day.
whatever.
Maybe it got to a point where it's too much, but yeah, man. I still think overall right now in my opinion, the biggest, most important news, regardless of price action, is China cracking down on miners, which we have some news to talk about today. Um, uh, I think that's the biggest thing, man. I mean, but once we start looking, past the price action and just focusing on what could or might happen and where this is coming from, because a lot of this even doesn't make sense. The drop here, then the quick bounce, and then the top, quick, drop after, and just slashing through all of this. Yesterday we shared that as soon as the Chinese, where was it here? Maybe it's somewhere here in the bottom. Let's see. Maybe I'll find it, but yeah, Agricultural Bank of China issued a notice that they will not participate in virtual currency, and this is the third largest bank in terms of assets under management. They're saying currency transaction related activities. China-oriented news resource 8BC reported. So customers' accounts participating in such activities will be closed and customer relationships will be terminated. So the result of this publication was instantly recognizable. Bitcoin plummeted by over 1,000 in minutes before rebounding to 33,000. Rebounding obviously because of all the buy orders that are set up. So in my opinion, that's still been the case. We started with China news back in April 17th, and we're still being driven by China news on June 22nd. So that's what it is in my opinion, man. China news.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I think this was necessary growing pains. Although it sucks going through it, what does this actually mean? Bitcoin will be more decentralized. China will have less control, and Bitcoin will become greener over the long term. This is not a long term issue. So I think this is just necessary growing pains that we just needed to get out of the way so that 6 months from now, 3 years from now, whenever it may be, whenever Bitcoin decides to start making moves to the upside, it will do so with more confidence and more strength and more long term sustainability, in my opinion.
100%. Look at
Yeah.
it drop right now, man. Literally, we're
Yeah.
at the 28,900 some. So,
Yeah. No, this is,
yeah,
guys,
everybody and
like,
their mom are going to jump on that short, man.
well, yeah, and like you got to think about the amount of liquidations, the amount of stop losses right below 30,000. And folks, look, in this live stream, my hope is to address my approach and what I'm doing in this market moving forward. Because look, I have a lot of exposure to this market. I'm sure, like many of you, I didn't take as many profits as perhaps I should have, as I'm sure many of you have as well. So, I kind of want to share my approach moving forward in this market, bear market or bull market, what I'm going to do. So, yeah, guys, no, look, ultimately at this point, I just really want to hammer home this point, which is look, we put it in a lower low below $30,000. All right. And looking at this pattern right here, Bitcoin is, in my opinion, forming a very clear head and shoulders. And the price target for this head and shoulders is negative $4,000. And so I do not think Bitcoin is going to go to negative $4,000. I don't even think it's going to go to $4,000. But the point of me bringing this up is that the downside potential, now that we've put in a lower low and broken down from this head and shoulders, is quite substantial. And so based off the evidence of price action and the confirmation we're seeing, I do believe an extended correction and consolidation phase, otherwise known as bear market, is very, very likely at this point, where we could go on to correct for 3 months, 6 months, or 3 years. It is definitely a possibility at this point. And so, yeah, man, look, I can go on further, but what do you think with that, with what I just said? Do you agree? Any nuance you want to add?
I would just like to say that, there's 81 people right now watching us. There's 14 likes. Guys, do us a favor and press that like button. It helps with the engagement, and it helps with showing this video more and more to people out there. If we think we're bringing you value, then most likely other people will think the same thing. So, make sure you like the video, you like the live stream. We go every day, just bring you all these news and research. So yeah, in this live stream, we're gonna go again, talk about the main reasons. We're gonna talk about the strategy going forward with this. And look, man, so for me to understand this, I guess, are you saying it's a bear market?
I'm saying more of the evidence is leaning towards a bear market than a bull market. I had some hopes that 30,000 would hold, but now that we've put in a lower low below 30,000, that's confirmation of the macro downtrend. And so at this point, before it was kind of a toss-up. There was reasons to be bullish, reasons to be bearish, but now I think there's more evidence leaning bearish rather than bullish. And so I do think a 3-month, 6-month, 3-year correction consolidation cycle is definitely very realistic. Again, this could be bought up tomorrow. We could pump and we could be at above 30K. It's possible. But at this point, majority of the evidence is leaning bearish rather than bullish definitively. 30K was kind of the last stand, but the Bears won. The Bears are clearly leading the market right now. 30K was the inflection point that made it very clear that it was no longer, the Bulls were no longer in control. The Bears are now in control for the time being.
Right. Yeah. And look, man, again, me, I don't like to label bull or bear market, because I don't know what constitutes that specifically with overall volatile price action.
It's very subjective.
Yeah, I don't know. If someone tells me, oh, it's a bear market, I would assume 3-4 years of consolidation. And sometimes people were calling a bear market when we got in January all the way down here. So was that a mini bear market? I don't even know what the time frame is when people say that. So I don't like to fully comment on it, but maybe just I'm out of the loop of what's happening on the street. Right? Like what's happening in the market, or what people call it. In my opinion, it's just price action. That's how I look at it. It's just price action, because even if we get right now, what are we at? 29K, and we drop below the 30K. It's a 28,000 Bitcoin, right? It's a 20,000 Bitcoin. It's a 15,000 Bitcoin. At the end of the day, with a lot of institutions buying, and all this news. I saw something today, the fact that China is actually cracking down on Bitcoin, trying to really reduce the hash rate and make it not workable, is a proof that Bitcoin actually works and crypto actually works. For it to be hard hit with a hammer fist, just nope, we're not doing none of that. That to me proves that this is being viewed not as a threat, but as a powerful tool, regardless for whatever that tool is going to be used as. So to me, it's just price action, man. To me, it's just price action. At the end of the day, even if Bitcoin goes to 20K, it's a 20K Bitcoin. It's a 20K online, coin that you can't touch, or you can't feel, and you can't see it, and you can't locate it, right? So it's still something different, man. It's still something to be taken. It's just a perspective, I guess. But again, to the public or the people, I guess the main question is always being asked: is it a bull or bear market? I mean, if you got into this, we're already 54% down.
Yeah.
Like so what if we even call it a bear market right now? It's already been a bear market. It's if we're talking about losses, we're 55% down, guys. We're down. Like
Yeah.
when do we call a bear market? When we get to the 20 or 15K or 5K? When it's
No, I
already
think
too
right now.
late, right? It's already
Yeah.
happened. This least people lost a lot. You know, at one point we were at 2.3 trillion dollar market cap for the whole crypto space, and now it's at 1.3, 1.2, probably today's even less. It's a whole
Yeah.
trillion out of this market. So that's where I'm sitting at. When someone asks bear or bull market, it's just such a black and white kind of question. It's just I say it depends. It depends.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, the term bull or bear market is very subjective, but for me, I do believe the inflection point was 30,000, because as long as we maintain 30,000, the possibility of recovery in the bull market continuing was definitely in the playbook as a likelihood. But a lower low below 30,000 again constitutes a bearish breakdown from a head and shoulders, and vastly increases the possibility of further bearish continuation, consolidation, and correction for an extended period of time, and vastly diminishes the possibility of a recovery. Now, I see a lot of people trying to draw a Wyckoff accumulation models, and with the Wyckoff accumulation model, again, I'm not some Wyckoff expert, but there is one final sell-off before the recovery. But look, I don't place that much stock in it. Number one, I don't know too much about the Wyckoff distribution model, and number two, this price action is so incredibly bearish that until we see bullish confirmation out the ass, this is very clear to me. This does look like confirmation of the macro downtrend. We've broken down from a head and shoulders, and just the vast majority of the evidence is pointing more bearish rather than bullish. And so I do believe, given that once we break certain levels and certain inflection points and certain key support, Bitcoin does tend to correct and consolidate for an extended period of time. Could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be 3 years. I don't know. But what I do think is a strong likelihood is as long as we continue to find rejection off of 30,000. Look, after we end this live stream, we could get back above. It's possible, but the longer we stay below 30,000, the more likely 27,000 is possible. I think 27,000 is our next short-term stop. We have a little bit of sideways price action here. The 618 golden pocket, that's typically where things like to retrace to. They have a bit of volume building up at 27,000. So I do believe 27,000 is our next stop if 30,000 keeps getting rejected. And then after that, $23,000 sideways price action here, volume building up. And then after that, I would say around $19,000, the previous all-time high, is probably our next likely stop for Bitcoin. So those are the three major support levels that I'm looking out for in the short term as very likely possibilities if Bitcoin keeps getting rejected off $30,000.
Yeah, I agree. So guys, let us know. Let us know in the chats here. I see a lot of people talking. I see GSP also is in this live stream, man. George St. Pierre, yeah, he's really killing it.
Damn.
Yeah,
Welcome,
I guess UFC and fighting aren't really paying off much, but guys, let us know in the chat in the chats. What are you bullish still? Are you bearish? What are you doing in this I guess difficult time in the crypto space? Are you holding? Are you selling? I see Ruby Steve saying I'm not selling anything. This is the final shakeout. Ramon Molina saying, so should I take my money out? We'll explain our reasons in this live stream. George St. Pierre saying, tore my ACL, buddy. Hope you recover. Other people are actually also let us know the Wyckoff distribution. Man, look, I'll be honest with you, I don't even look at that. I just saw one chart.
Yeah.
The Wyckoff distribution. I know there's that one video that blew out of nowhere, and everybody was just using that distribution like it's the ultimate truth. They went to some sort of mountain and in a cave somewhere and found it written on the stone, 2,000 years ago about Bitcoin, and that's everybody. They took the ball and ran with it. But I actually don't even know. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, guys, let us know in the chats. Let us know. Are you bullish? Bearish? What are you doing right now? Gareth is saying he sold. Did you sell anything, man?
Yes, I did. And so, folks, for full transparency here, I'm begrudgingly following my own advice and following risk management. Due to bearish confirmation and the likelihood of an extended correction and consolidation phase, much more likely at this point, I have sold. I've taken a look at my portfolio. I've been in this market a long time, ever since August. Really around August is when I first started to get into this market, and so I've been in a lot of stuff for a while. And so I'm checking what I'm in profit on and taking profit on whatever I'm in profit on. I've probably sold maybe half, maybe about less than half of my portfolio, maybe about a third. I still haven't crunched the numbers yet. So I can't give you guys specific numbers because I haven't done the numbers yet. But I have sold a significant portion of my portfolio. Again, it could be about a quarter, about a third. My best guess is just under half at this point. And in everything I hold at this point, I'm prepared to hold for the next 3 years if I had to, 3-4 years if I had to. So just understand again, guys, I'm proceeding under the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario may not be what happens. We could recover tomorrow. We could recover 3 months from now, but I'm proceeding on the worst case scenario. Everything I'm holding right now, I'm willing to hold for the next couple of years if I have to. So just guys, understand moving forward, if you're hodling, fantastic. If you could hodl over the long term, that's been the most successful strategy in the past. Just make sure you're holding quality. Things like shit coins like Shiba Inu might not be here 3 years from now. It might very well be, might not. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know for sure. But just understand that if you hold quality over the long term, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or 3 years from now, I do think eventually, I don't know when, but eventually the bull market's likely to kick back in. And just to, again, explain to you guys my approach when it comes to the worst case scenario. Bitcoin has historically moved in 4-year cycles to do the halvings, where roughly every 4 years, amount of Bitcoin being produced is cut in half. And so every time, really, after the halving, the price of Bitcoin has increased. And so the next halving is likely to be March 2024. So worst case scenario.
Sorry to cut you off. Where does this price action fall in the cycles right now? Like, so if we go back to that like screen you have with the 3 cycles, yeah. And if can you press that like button?
Yeah, no, there's
I see.
yeah,
So
no, there's nothing. But
I see. Okay.
yeah, just to finish off my point there real quick, which is worst case scenario, I do believe we have to hold until 2024 or 2025. But yeah, sorry, man. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. So where does this price action right now fall in terms of Bitcoin? Like I see there's still what, like 72 bars. Like is that 72 days? I guess.
From the halving, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, according to this chart, we still have until oh, this is actually updated. Before it was September, October, but now seemingly it's actually no. Oh no. It is September, October. So yeah. Now according to this chart, Bitcoin is likely to top off September, October. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Right.
yeah, no. At this point, I do believe it's likely that we could be in a. I think this is the best case scenario here, which is we could be in a 2013, 2014 scenario. But right here, if we're looking at the new pool, the net unrealized profit loss chart, this is the 2013, 2014 cycle where we had a double top, where we had a run up, a kind of mini bear market in the middle, and then a recovery. So I think this is the best case scenario we could look out for, where we have a double top, maybe 3-6 months of kind of a bear market in the middle. And worst case scenario is we have to wait until 2024, 2025 for the next bull market. So yeah, no, that's my approach moving forward, folks. I don't know, man. Do you have anything to add there in terms of my approach? What do you think in terms of worst case and best case?
I don't know. For me, it's kind of I would say it's a bit. I'm adding. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you. But I guess just to summarize it, if and you know me when it comes to like the cycles and all that, I don't like to base much of that based on the cycles. I
Right.
think there's a lot more factors at this time of this cycle or cycle, quote unquote, that I just don't. I can't seem to be able to factor into what happened back in the day. I just think that for me to do like some sort of fair comparison and base it off of that, like how would I factor what's happening in China right now? How would I factor regulations into all that? How would I factor? So to me, I'm leaving this as a price action. When we start seeing something like this, guys, for the next time you see, a bearish pattern such as this one over here at the top, where you can tell buyers are getting exhausted and not a lot of selling is going on yet. There isn't much selling, but buyers are extremely aggressive over on this side, and you see a break below this, knowing what's happening in China, knowing the banning that's been looming for a while. I would say, yeah, maybe start looking at taking profit at the top. So maybe that's like an opportunity for people to understand how volatile this is. And again, with you, I think it's actually like a perfect strategy. Obviously, if you're believing in the project and you're willing to hold, if you're holding Matic, if you're holding whatever, Solana, Polkadot, VeChain, projects that you actually believe in the long term, by all means, 100%, I fully believe in that. But like for people just to hold for the hell of it, hold through whatever and just not even know what they're in. You know what you're in. I know what I'm in. I don't have a problem with the crypto.com right now. I don't have a problem holding that for the next 10 years, 15 years. I don't care about that. I've been accumulating, right? But when I'm looking at other things that might be, affected by all these regulations, by all these stuff, then at the end of the day, everyone's trying to make money, guys. You're trying to make money. Sometimes I see in the space for you to hedge against all this volatility. Yeah, of course, hold, but only hold things that for a fact are going, are good fundamentally. They have a good technology behind them and a good team, and it's not sketchy. At least I feel like a high bar now in the crypto space is for things at least not to look sketchy. If you know who the team is, and if you know what the faces are, oh great, then you have a much better chance of at least holding something proper, right? So that's the thing. Don't hold till the end of life. Don't hold it till judgment day. Don't hold till you're 50, 60. Make money. You're in it. You want to make money? You're in it. You're right here. You're at the top. This is, overall, technical analysis does work. You'll see what price action is important. And you don't have to be in this position down 50%, right? And just continuing to hold. If I put my money and it starts to drop below 20%, best believe I'm out. I'm out. I'm not holding. I don't want to hold. I don't want to, but if people, so that's the thing, man. I feel like a lot of these even other channels talk about just holding for a while, and pretty sure, man, not a lot of the audience knows what they're in, know what's happening with regulations and all that. So yeah, man, look, with your analysis, I agree with it because you know what you're in. But for the people listening, if you don't know what you're in, don't just base it off of that. Actually know what you're in, know what project you're willing to hold at a loss for such a long time, right? Because you want to make money at the end of the day. We don't just love Matic because we're in a relationship with Matic, right? We love Matic because if Matic tomorrow, comes up with something new that might not work on the Ethereum network, I'm out. It's simple. New product, new service out, I don't think it's gonna work. I'm out. I'm very divorced to the market and how it moves, and this is simply price action for me. So again, man, that's what it is. And if you don't mind, I don't know what else would you want to talk about here, but I also want to talk about the Chinese miners actually migrating to the West and to Europe, and we have a bunch of stuff actually to talk about that. So unless I don't know how you'd want to move about this, if you have any news or something like that, but also I'd like to take a couple minutes to talk about that.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so biggest thing right now, yesterday, guys, talked about China. All the FUD's coming from China at the moment. Chinese bank overall. If you're watching the live stream, the Agricultural Bank of Canada, the world's third largest bank by asset, is set to implement Beijing's firm anti-cryptocurrency measures, rigorously vet its clients to ensure they're not engaged in any form of illegal activities involving in crypto transacting, trading, or mining. Saying, look, the institutions, banks, everybody, you cannot deal with or have, you need to vet all your customers, you need to vet all your consumers, everybody that has some sort of deposit account or whatever the case might be in your bank, and you terminate the service, you terminate whatever bank account they got, and and you report it, and they're they could face jail time. So in addition, Agricultural Bank of China, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the Construction Bank of China, Postal Savings Bank of China, and the Industrial Bank, along mobile payment app Alipay, which constitutes a huge percentage of China's online payments, were all present at that meeting, where they were all told, you are out, crypto's out, anything that has to do with crypto, take it off the market. So if you're, if you're in China, you got some, if you're 60% of of mining was in China, and everybody in China that has some sort of Bitcoin, it's illegal for them to deal with it. So what do you think is going to happen on the market? It's going to sell off. So that's what happened yesterday. So now today, for the past couple of I would say weeks, man, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about how 60% of that mining power is in China. It's based on coal mining. China doesn't like crypto. They like the technology. They're working on their own digital currency. They like the technology, but they don't like the tokens. They like VeChain, but they don't like the token. They want to use the technology, but they don't like it. They don't want you to use it as a saving mechanism, where you use it as some sort of investment, or you buy it just so because it's gonna go in value. They don't want that. So today, past couple of weeks, if you guys have been listening, we've been talking about how those miners are going to start migrating. Everybody's going to start migrating to the West or Europe. So as Beijing's attitude to crypto mining hardens, and as Chinese provincial and other administrators crack down on the industry, Chinese miners are decamping to countries in which they are less unwelcome. And those locations are Kazakhstan, North America, and Northern Europe. This is in Kazakhstan. So Dmitry Ivanov, a sales director at Anticipatory, or whatever this is, one of the biggest crypto mining firms in Kazakhstan, which last year opened a 180 megawatt data center. He told that in addition to offering hosting services for Chinese miners, it was currently in talks with other companies to jointly invest and build new mining facilities in the countries. Again, same thing. We have here the world's largest crypto mining equipment maker is also actively expanding overseas. Earlier this month, it announced that it is opening its first after-sales service center outside of China, also in neighboring Kazakhstan. So they're moving. These guys move. This is what this guy's saying. So Edward Liu, a senior vice president in Canaan, said in an interview with the Forecast News that the company's service center in Kazakhstan was only the first step in Canaan's setting up shop overseas, and that it was hoping to establish more operations in the future in places such as North America and Northern Europe, whatever our clients are. He's saying this is his job. This is what this whole thing is based about. And even in Kazakhstan, the country's government, however, is looking to regulate the industry further and propose to impose taxes on crypto miners, which is actually a good sign, because he's saying, look, this is signifying that they want to tax it. They want it. They want to profit from it, and they want to let it operate. So this is actually a green light for them. Same thing's happening in the States, man. So we're gonna see that mining power actually translate to the U.S. We've been seeing them translate to Texas. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, for instance, last week invited crypto miners to use the nuclear power available in the city in an interview with CNBC. Now, last month tweeted, "We want to be crypto mining capital of the world." You're gonna start seeing Bitcoin's mining power translate to Texas, translate to the U.S., translate to Eastern Europe. And that's what's going to be incentivized. And there's a lot more things happening. Bitfarm as well. Yesterday got listed on the Nasdaq. I believe they're fully focused on renewable energy-based Bitcoin mining. So all of that taken into play, it starts explaining the price action, right? It starts explaining what's happening with Bitcoin right now. It starts telling you why we're actually breaking below and we haven't been able to move anywhere up there above that. So that's what I want people to understand. Crypto mining might take 6, 7, 8 months until those facilities are fully booked and servers are running, Bitcoin is back up and running. But then again, there's a lot of profit being made as well right now. So keep that in mind. I think it's fully based on that. Not only if it breaks below 30K or not, it's just a matter of until that Bitcoin mining power gets absorbed by the West and the Europe, and that's when we start decoupling from what's happening in China, man. So that's what I think is happening mainly.
Yeah, no, lot.
Sorry, I took so much time.
No, that's fine. No, there's a lot to address there. That's all. No, yeah. So we're already seeing it. We're seeing Kazakhstan adopt a lot of these Chinese mining operations. And again, like I keep saying the same thing. What is this? What is the result of all this China fund? What does this really mean? What's really changed with Bitcoin? Exactly. What's changed is that China has less control over Bitcoin. Bitcoin's becoming more decentralized, and Bitcoin's becoming greener. Does this sound like a long-term issue to you? No, to me, this sounds like a growing pain. this sounds like a negative story that brings a lot of selling pressure that we had to get through eventually, whether it was now, a year from now, whatever it may have been, it was perhaps inevitable. And so the fact that we're getting this China flood out of the way, China has less control, more decentralized, Bitcoin getting greener now. I think this allows Bitcoin's next, bull cycle to be more sustainable whenever it may be, whether it's 6 months from now, 10 years, but whenever it may be, who knows? I do think it will allow it to be more sustainable. And so also, I would just add on my end as well, like a lower low below 30K is bearish confirmation, right? So that is why I'm taking profits, moving to stable coins, and to hopefully, later on buy the dip eventually. And look, one of the things that I'm looking out for is the new pool net unrealized profit and loss chart. Again, I think worst case scenario, we got to wait until 2024, 2025. Best case scenario, we're in a 2013, 2014 cycle where we kind of have a double top here. Either way, man, I do think a little bit more downside potential is likely due to us continually finding rejection off 30,000. So, yeah. Also, man, like, I don't know if you've taken a look at the stock market. I find it pretty interesting what's going on right now, because the stock market does seem to be doing okay despite the QQQ tracking the NASDAQ. Does seem to be holding up okay, which should be good for Bitcoin. And the dollar is finding rejection, which should be good for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is breaking down. So I think this tells us when these macro factors are actually pretty neutral in regards to Bitcoin and we still collapse and buyers can't come in, it's just really bringing home the point that I think in the short term, bears are definitely in charge of this market.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. That's what we're seeing right now. The XY is just the dollar. Wow, man, my throat is done right now. Maybe it's all the crying I've been doing in the side. Yeah, so the XY, it's even the Nasdaq is just 0.03% up. The Dow Jones is just down minus what 0.13, and the S&P 0.05. So. I mean, yeah, with all these talks about inflation and higher interest rates and all that, people are preferring to sell at the moment, including Bitcoin, as an investment. So I think everyone's just scrambling, man. So much going on that everyone's trying to figure it out. And but yeah, man, like, what does that mean for the I guess for the listener, for the people watching? It depends at the end of the day how much you're willing to hold, and it depends in terms of how much. Did you put in money that you can afford to lose? Was it your first day at give the guy a hot drink. I've been drinking honey
Oil.
and my bad, tea and honey, man. I don't know what's going on with my voice there, but I think, man, right now everyone's scrambling. I think even gold at the moment, you're seeing a lot of people talking about it, not even hedging properly against this hyperinflation, and the market actually dropping with the pandemic, and even with talks about the market reopening and all that. Still, people are scared, the economy is scared, and you usually see that right away with stocks. Stocks react very quick to higher interest rates and talks about higher interest rates than the actual effect on those of those interest rates on the economy. So I think, man, everyone's scrambling right now, and everyone's trying to see, where am I going to protect myself? Where am I going to protect my money? Bitcoin, gold, silver, bonds? Where am I going to go with this? And yeah,
Bonds of negative interest, man.
A lot of negative interest, man.
It's a very good question, because where do you put the money, your money? And look, I want to clarify something. I said that the stock market's looking okay, and what I meant by that is just that we're like not down on the day. Like, just what I meant by that is just like today we're doing well. The stock market actually does look very weak. Actually, and I saw someone in the comments saying it looks like Bitcoin before it crashed, and I think this person is in fact correct. The stock market is extremely overextended on the upside. We're seeing higher highs in price action paired with lower highs in RSI, which is bearish divergence. So I think the macro trend for the stock market is super, super precarious. But just that, I do find it interesting that on the day that the stock market is not crashing and doing okay, that same day Bitcoin collapses. That is just an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Because yeah. And also, again, like if the stock market does indeed crash and have a further sell-off, that would likely be a catalyzing factor that drives Bitcoin down further. I mean, if Bitcoin decides to drop below 30K on a day that the stock market's doing well and the DXY is down, I mean, what's going to happen if the stock market crashes and the DXY pumps? I mean, and for those who don't know, the DXY is the dollar index. Typically has an inverse correlation with Bitcoin. Whenever dollar does well, Bitcoin does bad. Dollar does bad, Bitcoin does good. Dollar is doing bad, and Bitcoin is collapsing. Stocks are holding up as of today, and Bitcoin is collapsing. So if we see a reversal in that, I think that could be a catalyzing factor that holds us below 30K.
Yeah,
What do you think?
no, definitely, man. No, definitely, 100%. Even like, I see some people here talking about the volume, I guess. So you talk about the volume as well. Yesterday's scandal was the what am I looking here? 1 inch. So this is it right here. Yesterday volume was pretty higher than usual. So this the highest volume we had ever since March 23rd, when there was a lot of FUD. There was a lot of the overall sentiment in the market was bearish. Yesterday we had the lowest closing price we had for Bitcoin ever since we pushed above 39, or what do we have here, 33,000, $34,000 region. But if we're talking about specifically about this zone over here, yeah, so we're talking about continued higher lows. We're talking about bears getting squeeze, short squeeze, pushed back up, and yesterday was pretty bearish. Regardless of the fact, man. So yeah, man, I don't know where the day's gonna end. I don't know if it's gonna peak through and gonna continue to go back above, but it's just the fact that we just peaked through the 30K to the bottom is just telling you that there's enough sellers to actually make us peak through. So are they gonna accumulate more, or are they gonna sell more? So yeah, man, I think right now, keep an eye out, guys. Keep an eye out on these levels. The biggest thing, Brendan just also mentioned it to you guys. You're just looking, nothing crazy. It's been going down anyways, but next level we should be looking at is the 26, 27,000. We're looking at the VPR, VPVR again, 23,000, and eventually 19,000, whatever. Obviously 20,000 is going to be there first, but that's the initial, that's the whole market resetting. We're back to the 20K. Are we gonna peak below? Do you think we're gonna peak below? Let us know, guys. Do you think we're gonna peak below the 20K at one point here, or what are your thoughts overall? Because I see some people saying right now, Nafi's saying definitely not a bear market, just a bear cycle because of FUD, bull cycle incoming. Other people are saying stop the bull run nonsense. Bears are in full control. Someone else is saying final shakeout until mother of all bulls. That's what Easy Bruh is saying. Ruby saying Wyckoff accumulation sharp lines up exactly, waiting to play out next in the spring. Yeah, man, one of us is smoke a fat, Jay and chill, I guess. Yeah, so let us know, guys. Let us know what you guys think, and let us know what else you want to take a look at, man. What else you want to talk about here?
Yeah, look, and I would just add, look, tomorrow we could recover. We could recover in August in the summer. We could recover a year from now. We may recover at whatever time, but just to get some clarity in the state of the market, putting in a lower low below 30,000 is confirmation of the downtrend. That's why I'm taking profits, not because I don't believe in this space long term. I 100% believe in this space long term. I do. My gut feeling and my inkling tells me that this was not the cycle top. But with all that being said, I try and base my decisions based off evidence and a plan. And the fact that we've put it in a lower low, below 30,000, increases the likelihood of further correction and consolidation substantially for an extended period of time, and vastly decreases the likelihood of a recovery in the short term. We could get a recovery tomorrow, next month, in the summer. It may happen, but it's a lot less likely now that we've put it in a lower low. And again, I see a lot of people talking about the Wyckoff accumulation, and that kind of is the last stand, but it's super, super thin. And I think most of the evidence is pointing bearish rather than bullish. And so, I mean, I hope you guys, following Wyckoff are correct, but most of the evidence is not in your favor. So that's what I would add there. Also, man, look, I maybe want to take a second to bring something up here, which is, look, I really appreciate your point of view to the market. I think you're highly influenced by like a trader's mindset, which is you make decisions based off what price action is telling you, which is
Mhm.
the epitome of rationality. But
But
I also
I feel like you're insulting me. I don't know why.
no, I'm not insulting. I'm
Say
trying
it,
to
man. Say it like you mean it.
yeah, no, I'm trying to
Not sorry. Go ahead.
describe your position and strongman your position before I provide not even a criticism, but a counter perspective.
Yeah.
And so I do think there is something to be said to long-term hodling. Um, Regardless of if price is going down in the short term. Because again, I think we're both coming from a trader's perspective, and that's obviously makes all the sense in the world. If you want to know what's likely in the near future, in the short term, you have to know technical analysis. Fundamentals won't help you at all in the short term. But if we're talking about the long term, I think there is something to be said to appreciate an investor's slash fundamental investors outlook on the market, which is look, if this is indeed the next major asset class and the fastest growing asset class in the world, there is an interesting argument to be made that the greater risk is not having exposure to the market. And so given that it is possible that a recovery could happen tomorrow, next month, 3 months from now, even though I agree it's not likely, I think there is an argument to be made to hodling quality assets, even though it might be correcting, it could correct a long time more. If you believe and if you kind of have a super long term outlook, and if you believe that the greater risk is not having the exposure, I do believe that hodling through downtrends, if you're a super long term fundamental investor, is an argument I think worth consideration. And because look, man, again, we could recover tomorrow, next month, in the summer, August. I don't think it's likely. In fact, I think it's likely not that we won't at this point, but it's possible. And so, like again, that's why I personally haven't sold everything. Again, I've sold roughly maybe half. Again, I haven't crunched the numbers yet, so I can't tell you guys for sure. But I am still keeping some exposure to this market in case we do have some sort of recovery, whenever it may be. So, guys, look, if you're holding quality, I do think it's just a matter of time before things like Ethereum, things like Bitcoin, put in a new all-time high and our price discovery. Although it may be a very long time before that happens again.
Yeah,
So I
no,
don't know.
look, man, I agree, obviously, but like I think there should be some sort of a balance. That's what I think. If in the
Oh, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
if you're in the crypto space and you don't want to see all this, right? Because people actually do like I don't want to wait. Like you need to understand when at least that what's good for you. Are you okay with having a 50% drop and holding through that? Does that make sense to you? Right? Does
I
that
think
make
for a
sense?
lot of people it does. Yeah.
Sure. So no
Maybe
problem. So
maybe
that's the
not for
thing.
me, but just to kind of like provide the other argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, no, 100%. I think to a lot of people it does, but majority of the market, when you're at loss, right, and you're hurting from it, then that's a different case. So I'm talking for the people that are selling, because there's obviously the market has been dropping right now. The market is dropping right now. Why? Because we are breaking through major price levels. So you want to hold at a 50% loss or more during, for the next 2, 3 years, 100%. That's what I keep on saying. You want to do that, do it. Like it's not a problem if you're holding fundamentals, sure. But without understanding what's happening outside the chart, without knowing that you are into, maybe you should know technical analysis a bit, just a bit, to understand what's going on in the market, just so you know what's going to happen soon. Why would you want to buy the top? Why would you want to
Right.
enter Bitcoin at 63,000 and right now it's at 29,000? Like, why would you ever want to do that? I never understood the idea of why you should hold. You shouldn't hold if you're losing that much. Half of your
Well,
money with it. You get what I'm saying? That's my
I
perspective. Other people can do
right.
whatever, right?
Yeah. And look, I agree with you. But just to be like devil's advocate for a second, just to provide a counter perspective that I don't necessarily hold exactly. But I do understand that I think for a lot of like fundamental investors, and I think this might apply to like a very like few people, but just to provide a perspective, I do at least understand the argument that for a lot of people, the bigger risk is not having exposure to this asset. And again, to this asset class, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And look, I agree with you, man. Like, why would you full buy something at the top when you know that it's selective and know that we could have a substantial correction? And again, I agree with you. But just to provide, like the other perspective, for people who think inflation's going to fucking double digits and adoption is just becoming, and there's adoption bell curves, and how whenever a new major technology is being adopted, the adoption curve is exponential. And look, there's reasons to be bullish in this market. And so again, if you believe that 10 years from now Bitcoin's going to be at 500,000, $1 million, then buying at 63, 64, $65,000 seems very logical to you if you believe that, and if you have that kind of perspective. And again, this may only apply to a very small amount of people, but I do think bottom line is here, whether the cycles go on to play out perfectly or not, I think that adoption is just beginning, and over the long term, the more time goes on, the more likely this asset class is going to continue to be further adopted. And I think eventually, the more time goes on, the more likely it is that we could reach ultimate highs near price discovery once again. And again, I don't know. That could be 3 months, could be 3 years. I don't know.
But look, man, I agree. I agree. Like, obviously, if you want to not time, but if you want to see when to buy and sell, you need to have some sort of an edge in terms of technical analysis. Like, 100%. Like, what I'm asking is it's not like an easy thing to do, but because I see those comments, because I see people getting stuck, because I see people losing money. That's the main reason. Like, sure, hold, but if you're not able to pay your bills based on that, then no, don't. Cut your losses. That's what I'm saying, because I see a lot of our audience. Sometimes you do ask questions that kind of explains where you how much you know about the market, or how much you're exposed to technical analysis. And sometimes I actually do feel bad, man. I do feel bad, because I'm like, okay, obviously these people are coming to listen, or coming to watch, or they're going to watch these other bigger channels, and that they're getting advice from it to tell them, yeah, just keep holding. And now you're 60% down, now you're 70% down. The price keep on falling, and you entered at such a wrong time. That's what I feel for the people. I don't think people are in it to make money. That's what I think. So what I'm saying is, for the average person, if you don't know what this is, then just do your research a bit. And yes, investing is hard. Investing is hard. Just hodling and just keeping it in is a lazy way of investing. I think you need to know what you're in. So yeah,
but it's a very successful way as well.
100%. Investing is sometimes even harder than just day trading, because you're putting a lot of money, and you're putting it for such a long time, and you need to pay the bills. You need to pay the bills. Where are the bills going to be paid? In the next cycle? In 3 years, you're going to pay your bills? How's that going to be paid? Right? So that's what I'm saying. Investing is
100%.
extremely complex. I see Nafi here. What is saying? I agree. If you need to pay bills, then sell, but you shouldn't be putting money into crypto that you need for bills. 100%. 100%. Someone else saying, definitely don't hold. If you invested money, you cannot lose. And yes, 100%. But the problem is, the majority of the market over leveraged. We're seeing over leveraged out the ass, right? We're seeing people getting annihilated, bulls and bears. People that are shorting, people that are longing, getting fully wrecked, because they're watching, these big guys talking about, hey, there's 100% going down, and the masses don't really understand what they're in. So that's what I'm saying. You're right, man. I agree with you. But for the person that doesn't know much, and for the person that is putting their life savings into crypto, and they still need to pay the bills, don't hold. Cut your losses. That's what I'm saying.
Man, look, that makes a lot of sense. And no, I agree with you. Look, guys, if you got to pay the bills, pay your bills. But assuming you can pay your bills for the next 5 years if you had to. If what you got in crypto, you could lose and you wouldn't be affected at all, and you're financially secure, then if you're holding quality, again, not financial advice, each person needs to come up with their own strategy and understand what's best for themselves. I don't know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. So, but with that being said, if you're holding quality projects, things like Ethereum, things like Polkadot, things like Crypto.com, BNB, things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Crypto.com, Polkadot, things with long-term staying potential, again, will eventually recover. But just understand that eventually could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be 3 years, could be longer. So are you prepared to hodl 3 years? So just understand that these are the kinds of things we really need to start considering as very realistic possibilities. At this point, we should all be proceeding under the worst case scenario. That may not happen, but we should proceed in the worst case scenario, which is next bull run is likely to be around 2024, 2025. So are you prepared to hodl until 2024, 2025? If one can do that without any problem, you can pay the bills, you're very financially secure, then I would say
100%.
next cycle, that's great. But look, if you got to pay the bills, keep the lights on. And folks, at the end of the day, like you learn from your mistakes and have some dry powder and be able to do things better next time around. Speaking honestly myself, I would 100% do things differently next, quote unquote cycle than I would have this cycle. I would have taken a lot more profits over here. I also would have followed my own goddamn advice and exited out of the market once we broke down from. And I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but I'll just finish up with this.
Go ahead.
I really wish I would have followed my own goddamn advice. I've been saying this for literally months that the 50 daily SMA was one of the most important support levels for Bitcoin. And I was right. I've been saying this since February, how the 50 daily SMA constantly held us support all throughout the parabolic growth. As soon as we broke below it, came back up to retest it, got rejected. That was the beginning of what could be the bear market. And again, 2017, it was the same goddamn thing. The 50 daily SMA, simple moving average, pump dump, found support there, pump dump, found support there. As soon as we broke down, came back up to retest it, beginning of the bear market. So now 2 goddamn cycles where the 50 daily SMA has been the thing to look out for. And guys, look, I'm being honest with you guys. I did not follow my own advice. I bought some of the hopium. I should have been more pragmatic. And as soon as we got rejected, broke below, like over here back in April, this is when I should have started to scale out of the market. And moving forward, the next time we do this, this is when I will take profits. Whenever Bitcoin gets back above this 50 daily SMA and has a parabola, and we break down from it again and come back up to retest and get rejected, these 3 daily candles where we got rejected off it, looking back in retrospect, this is where I should have sold. Because again, I knew this for months. I was saying it for months. I didn't follow my own advice. And so I've learned my lesson. And moving forward, I will follow my own advice. And so I say this just to say, guys, folks, learn from your mistakes and have some dry powder to be able to capitalize on what you've learned and to be able to execute on your greater understanding of the market. So have some dry powder, make sure you pay the bills. And if you're still in profit, just understand that it's definitely possible that we could correct a lot further there. So look, man, I know I rambled on along there,
bro.
but do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I see some people talking. I always tune into these streams. I appreciate the honesty and talk, fellas. Thank you, Stizzy, for tuning in. Ramon, how far can it drop just today? We're seeing here Andrew Shin agreeing with you, saying exactly, Brendan. We have here, so it's actually interesting to see what people are interesting. Stizzy's also, I'm in it for the long term, more than 5 years, so I just continue to accumulate more ETH, ADA, and VT over time. Nafi saying invest slowly, build up your portfolio, do not invest your bill money. I was down 5K last night and slept like a baby because it's not bill money. 100%, man. It's all about, your state of mind. Awesome. Yeah, 100%, because you're going to do irrational decisions once you're in the market down really heavy a lot, but if you know your money, if you know your bills are taken care of and everything, and you're willing to take a chance, why not? Scott is saying my crypto investments are for my kids. 15 to 20 years from now, they'll be worth a fortune. So damn, that's probably the longest outlook I've seen probably anywhere on the channel on our Discord, man. Nafi's saying exactly, Scott. I plan for 5 years minimum. What else? Hindsight's 2021. They were talking about you saying you should have sold or whatever. And Scott is also saying investment should always be seen as long term. In 5 years, we'll look back at this and it's just another cycle. So yeah, man. I do agree. It is what it is. That's what we signed up for. It's a crazy world, and it's either that or the stock market, man. And guess what?
Yeah, we ain't in the stock market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, guys, let us know what you want us to take a look at. We can take a look at ETH, Bitcoin, whatever the case might be, VeChain. Although it's mainly Bitcoin right now that's leading the market. We're at 29,900. We peaked, man. We see there's just a bit of buying, I guess. Nothing substantial, but the daily's definitely ranged. So hey, let's just bet. Do you think we're gonna be above 30K by the end of the day? Are we gonna have a close above or below 30K?
We're testing it right now, man. We're seeing a long to the downside. Look,
just a quick bet feeling. What do you think?
Well, let me look at the indicators because I don't want to just say
like a math question.
Yeah, no, I want to make decisions again based off logic and reasoning, and not my feelings and intuitions. Look, what I would say is lower time frames.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see.
I don't know, man. I don't feel comfortable making this bet because I honestly don't know. Because look, we could recover lower time. We're super extended at the downside, very extended at the downside, and so a relief rally above 30K is definitely possible. It's 100% possible. Looking at the half-hour thing here, everything's bullish, so we're seeing bullish divergence in the half-hour, 15-minute. So we'll see if that carries over to the hourly. Hourly starting to show some signs of bullish divergence. Weighted MACD curving up, MACD histogram moving up. Stochastic RSI, great for understanding shifts and trends, seems to want to have a bullish crossover. And so I do think a retest of 30K, even an impulse above it, is definitely in the playbook for sure. I don't know, man. It's an interesting question. I don't feel comfortable calling it. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Wow. Okay. So I think there's obviously nothing, but we could end up yet. I'm just gonna say, just for the hell of the live stream, saying we're gonna be above 30K before the end of the day, guys.
Would be nice.
I'm gonna wake up and tell you that's exactly what I thought, and you guys should have listened. But yeah, man. I see. What do we have here? 30K. Let's see. Can you look at BNB? Super Doge. It's a SPY, I guess. Do you want to take a quick look at BNB, man?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the only request we actually got. BNB.
Let's take a look at ETH afterwards.
Sure, no problem. So yeah, BNB right now sitting at $241. It's down 10%. Down 10%. Let's see on the weekly, or what do we have? Yeah, man, this thing is really heavily down. Yeah, the whole market is down. But again, if you see through all of these different charts, we're all at a level right now that's extremely critical. And it looked like that level, the 30K level for Bitcoin is the $260 for Binance. And right now, again, we're past it. We're past the inflection point here where we had the sell, the supply and demand actually meet. We had that massive run up, and we're seeing if we're coming down to that, you'll see here as well that we don't really try to peak below these levels until right now we're actually exactly there. So yeah, it's also not looking that good so far for BNB. Next biggest level I'd be looking at here, just looking at the VPVR, nothing crazy. That the $130, $135 region would be where we would be taking a look at. That's a lot of where that trading activity was at. You'll see here. And yeah, that would be the next stop if Bitcoin continues to be below the 30K. I'm looking at BNB going back down to the 130 as Bitcoin goes to its next big level, which is, I would say, in my opinion, the 26, 20, 26, 27, basically. That's what we should be taking a look at. So very rough BNB analysis, but that's because of Bitcoin doing its thing.
Yeah. Honestly, BNB scares me, man, because the thing about BNB is that it had so much parabolic growth throughout 2021 that if we do start to lose support at kind of like just above 200, then there's very little support until like $40-$50.
Mm-hmm.
So BNB, again, I believe in it long term. Like Binance is the biggest centralized exchange in the world. It's going to be here as long as there's like an internet. So over the long term, I think all-time highs in price discovery is pretty close to a guarantee. But in the short term, the downside potential is extremely substantial if we start to like break down. I mean, again, there's multiple areas of support we could talk about here, but basically, if we lose 200, 130 is our next stop, and if we lose 130, I mean, there's no major support until like $45, $40.
Yeah.
So again, I believe in BNB long term. 5 years from now, BNB could be worth thousands and thousands of dollars, but for the next couple months, next few years, it's possible. And again, we could recover tomorrow, but again, at this point, entering an extended bear market is definitely realistic, a strong possibility. So again, this falling, look at this parabolic growth. There's like next to no support here. Like, folks, again, like a $50 BNB is 100% possible in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, man. Especially dropping from 691, like it's nothing. Even within a day, we dropped from 508 all the way down to 283 within a day. So
Yeah.
definitely says a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Binance here, guys. Let us know if there's anything specific besides that you want us to take a look at. I see someone talking about ADA seems to be holding up quite well considering DOT is a steal, Polkadot. I guess for someone, DOT massively affected compared to Solana or even MIR. What are your guys' top altcoins you would feel comfortable buying this dip at? And given the recent trend, how do you think EIP 1559 will affect the Ethereum network and the price, man? So you want to talk about maybe Ethereum if that's the case, or what are you thinking of?
Well, yeah, those are all really good questions. So why don't we tackle those one at a time here?
So let's just talk about Ethereum questions with Ethereum, whatever they ask, and then we'll jump to Polkadot and whatever else.
Okay. Well, sure. We'll do that then. Okay. So
whatever you want. Let's just go through the questions then. I thought you wanted to talk about Ethereum after. That's all.
No. Let's talk about Ethereum. And we'll talk about Ethereum since we're right there right now. So we'll do that, and we'll address the EIP question. So, So again, question here, just to reiterate, given the recent trends, how do you think EIP 1559 will affect Ethereum network and price? Well, at this point, there's the argument to be said that EIP 1559, for those who don't know, that's when Ethereum will become deflationary. May have already been priced into this uptrend. It is, at the end of the day, an extremely bullish catalyst. And typically speaking, there's anticipatory run-ups leading up to catalysts. And then sell-offs afterwards. Although in a bear market, good news does not necessarily move price action. So if we are indeed entering a bear market, which I think there's a very good argument to be made, although we're back above 30K right now, super interesting.
I see.
You see how excited I got all of a sudden? But yeah, no, look. Then EIP, might not have an effect, but it will have an effect over long term. And look, if you're willing to hodl ETH the next 5 years, again, I could be wrong. Fuck what I have to say. Come up with your own conclusions, your own understanding. But I think it's just a matter of time before Ethereum is $10,000 and well above. So so bottom line is, I don't know if Bitcoin just collapse further into nothingness, then good news is probably not going to positively affect price action. I'll say that in a true bear market, good news has at the best a temporary effect on price action. And I would just also add with Ethereum, we're touching the 618 perfectly. We're currently sitting on this volume, and so if we start to break down below 1700, we could probably fall out further. So I think kind of the major short-term support for ETH is 1700.
Yeah. So I guess one thing I would want to comment is, do you think EIP 1559 is only gonna act as some sort of news to Ethereum? Because we know like how fundamentally, it's gonna affect the Ethereum network, virtual machine, and all that, and just deflationary, lower gas fees, more security. Is that only gonna act like some sort of news for the biggest altcoin in the market?
I think so, man, because we see this all the time, even in the legacy market, and with stocks with much bigger market caps. We see this all the time with things with again much greater market cap, which is whenever there's a big piece of news that fundamentally changes things for the better. Typically speaking, there is an anticipatory run up and a sell off afterwards. Not always, but it happens often enough that I do think it is a very realistic possibility that you should consider. A lot of people use these big catalysts to drive up the price and take profits and sell off afterwards. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, we even saw it with Kusama recently. I love Kusama. I believe in Kusama long term. But we had one of the biggest things ever in Kusama's history, which is parachain auctions. And right after the parachain auctions, there was a sell off. There was an anticipatory run up leading to auctions, and then a sell off afterwards. And so this
Right.
happens all the time. And so I do think something similar is possible with Ethereum.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. If that's the
Yeah.
case, we'll see how
And,
that plays out.
and also, again, just because I do think this is an interesting point to kind of highlight uh, the small areas in which we do differ. And again, I'm trying to you tell me if I understand your position correctly. But my understanding of your position is, you know, the individual kind of catalysts and major shifts in the kind of growth and scalability of the project is what will drive the fundamentals, price action. So, like, I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying, or your belief is that moving forward, fundamental major shifts in a protocol is what's likely to drive price action moving forward. Am I correct?
I think that's the biggest thing we should be looking at. I understand your position, as in like we haven't really seen any evidence for it, but specifically for Ethereum, right? I think Ethereum kind of broke that oh, it's just a random altcoin image, right? I think the whole market is now looking at it. I think the whole market understands what Ethereum is. I think Bitcoin's main flaws and main, I guess, blockchain weaknesses have been highlighted enough in the cycle, in the mainstream, and Ethereum is like the, DeFi, like it's the next biggest thing. So, in terms of just looking of, I would give it a bit more weight, I would say, than it just acting like some sort of news. There's some good news out there. I think what's happening right now, specifically with all these, banks getting into yesterday, the Bank de France tests digital currency-based security settlements. We know what's happening in the U.S. With a bunch of, we're anticipating sometime in the summer, more talks about central bank digital currencies. We got more and more research papers by major central banks looking at stable coins having their own currency. So my biggest, same thing with the Bank of International Settlements. So with that being said, right? It is a currency. It is a digital currency. What these big guys are talking about. Are they gonna allow Ethereum? Right? Ethereum was the to have a you're building decentralized apps, building decentralized whatever gaming systems or whatever the case might be. And sure, Ethereum can still run. You can still run on Ethereum. It's just that our main currency is just not Bitcoin. We're still using the digital US dollar. Are they gonna look at Ethereum a different light when they realize that it's even better for us here to use Ethereum on these? You get what I'm saying? Like, isn't like instead of just
Yeah,
banning
yeah,
it or just like that decoupling. Sure, we don't have enough evidence yet, but
yeah.
I think like I would want to give this Ethereum, highly anticipated Ethereum upgrade, like a lot more weight than it just being some sort of a news that someone can trade. But then again, we want to see how that plays out. I might be wrong. You might be wrong. Something else might just come in and just really just flip the whole market, man. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, look, either way, I do think it's an interesting argument. Like, it's a very interesting idea. Will Ethereum's fundamentals, cause it to decouple from Bitcoin and move on its own? Maybe eventually it will. But again, I think maybe just the difference is that for me, until I see actual evidence of Ethereum fully decoupling from Bitcoin, I will continue to proceed under the assumption that Bitcoin will lead the market because that's what it's always done and that's what it's currently doing. So no, look, I think we agree in interesting ways, which is, over the long term it might decouple, but for me, I think I need to actually see the decoupling to believe in it personally. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, that does make it's like saying, hey, this sports team's gonna win this game, and you're like, yeah, I won't believe it till I see it, until they score.
Well, I think maybe it's almost like, hey, this sports team is likely to eventually win, but until I see it, I
Yeah,
don't think.
no, 100%.
Yeah. It's
There's
just the
obviously like
timing.
a speculation aspect to it. Yeah,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
I guess like flirting with the idea is always a fun thing. But man, one thing I wanted to bring up even on the daily here, this that Ethereum yesterday again closed below the 200 EMA, and the last time we saw this, so yesterday was June 21st. If we go all the way back here, all the way to the back, last time we actually had a drop below this guy was literally March 2020.
Ooh.
So as soon as we drop below it, and even let's just analyze this just from a price action, I guess, standpoint. We're in the bottom for a while, and this is the 2017, I believe. Yeah, so this is 2017 bull cycle, and Ethereum dropped heavily below this. Let's just say specifically, maybe let's just go here. So yeah, it dropped like 38% below this EMA on a daily. And if we're taking it from the top, that would have took us to 74% drop. 74% drop from the top there. Then we start seeing the beginning of, I guess, the bear market. But what I'm saying is that the most recent one was Ethereum being at the top here at the $280, $290, and then peaked at that, dropped all the way back down to the 86, so 69%, 70% movement. And then as soon as we drop below that, that's the last time we actually were below it. So pretty interesting. First time we're dropping below it. That's a very, 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 this is an inflection point, and we want to see how that plays out. And you can see how as soon as we drop below it, maybe if I lock this to the daily here, to the daily chart, and I just want to go to the 4-hour. So yeah, you'll see, or even maybe the 1-hour. Yeah. So yeah, this is the daily EMA. We dropped below it, went back up to retest, fully got rejected off of it. And now we're in limbo, man. So we're definitely at an inflection point for Ethereum. We're below the 2,000. We're below all the EMAs. So keep an eye out. And I guess now's the test period to see if those upgrades for Ethereum are actually going to lift it, are going to be, the pillar that Ethereum will continue to move forward in this crypto space. And if our random theories here actually do stand some weight to them, are we going to see that Ethereum flipping Bitcoin? Let's see what's going to help it. Let us know, guys, in the chats. What do you think? Do you think Ethereum is actually going to get to that point? I see some people here saying EIP-1559 isn't a fundamental change in the Ethereum network. It only reduces gas fees. Really? Paid to miners introduces a fee burn. It doesn't actually fix anything except reducing miner profits, which is a pretty big thing. Yes, but deflationary, which isn't the fix, is just Vitalik thumbing his nose at the mining community he has been riding on the backs to get his network. So lower gas fees, lower fees paid to miners, fee burn, making it deflationary. What do we call that, man?
I want look.
Band-aid? Maybe it's a band-aid.
Well, no, look, I do believe it's a big fix in the sense of it becoming deflationary. So I do believe that is a quite substantial fundamental change.
That's what we're saying, I guess. But
look, I would add here, man. Again, you have this habit of saying really significant things and kind of briefly going over it. I want to hover this on this point for a second. This is extremely substantial. What you're saying here, which is bringing up the fact that we're below the 200 daily exponential moving averages, blue line here on my screen. This is pretty substantial. We're finding rejection off. And are we on my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you're right. This is extremely relevant. So I want to bring this up because How do we know when to be confident to get back into the market, right? So for me, we can see how this 200. First off, I want to explain why this EMA specifically is so relevant and how we could be more confident about this market again. So even looking back at the previous cycle, just to get a bit more confirmation of the significance of this moving average, several times held as support, here support, here support, here support. As soon as we broke below it, confirmation of the bear trend. So what did we do here? We broke above our 200 EMA again, came back down to retest it, lost it as support. In fact, once we broke below, it came back up to retest, it got rejected. Bearish confirmation, downtrend continues. Over here, broke above it, came back down to retest it, lost it as support, downtrend continues. So, but that changed back in May 2020, where we broke below the 200 EMA, broke above it, came back down to retest it, and held it as support. So we can see that during the beginning of the 2018 bear market and the kind of middle 2019 bear market, we kept losing the 200 daily EMA as support. And so when do we be confident about the bull market continuing? I think we can be confident when we break above the 200 EMA, come back down on a retest and hold it as support. And at that point, again, based off what's happened historically, we can be a little bit more confident in terms of our timing that the bull trend could continue. Because again, man, like all throughout the bear market, we lost the 200 EMA as support. As soon as we broke above it for the first time, came back down to retest it and held it as support for the first time, which we failed to do continuously all throughout the bear market. Look what it led afterwards, the bull market. So
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty key EMA for ETH. And again, just to briefly do a similar thing with Bitcoin. Again, folks, when do we know to get bullish again? The thing that I'm looking out for is a bullish retest of the 50 daily SMA. Once we get above this thing, come back down to retest it, hold it as support. At that point, I can be confident of the bull market again. This cycle constantly held that support. We broke down, bear cycle. 2017, what happened? Bull cycle constantly held it as support. We broke down from it, bear cycle. So look, no one thing is the end all be all. But for me, as soon as we get a bullish retest of these EMAs, that's a sign that the bull market will continue. And again, look, it's not the end all be all. Like over here, we broke above, retested, held it as support, and then broke below it. So again, it's not the end all be all, but I do think it's one significant factor that we need to look out for to kind of call a bull market again, which is bullish retests of these long-term EMAs.
Yes, sir. No, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, and look, I think that's pretty significant. So I appreciate you. Let me take a second to hash
No
that
worries,
out.
bud. No worries, bud. Anything for you, man. Anything for you.
Oh
So,
man,
yeah, man, we're pushing this hour and 22 minutes. What do we got here? Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Steezy's saying top alts to buy right now, fellas. In your opinion, looking to diversify into projects that will be around long term. Maybe I'll say one, you'll say one, and then we'll move on to the next thing.
please.
I would say, yeah, crypto.com for me is the biggest thing. I've been adding to my portfolio, regardless of what's happening in the market, regardless of what Bitcoin is doing, regardless of what Ethereum is doing. I think on a much, much, much bigger picture, I'm fully in on that project, fully in on what they do, the services they provide, and just bringing small businesses into the crypto space. Making it easier to on ramp and off ramp. Clients, transactions into the crypto space, and those big partnerships they got. So just check it out, see what they're all about. I think they're gonna be a big competitor in the future, and they're all about compliance. They're all about sustainability, regulated, and just making it easier for those big businesses to actually do business with them, right? So that's, I think, what's the main important thing we should be taking a look at in these times. It's like, how sustainable are they? How regulated are they? Compliant with policies? Because no matter what you do, man, they're not gonna keep you just running in the wild west. I guess it's not just gonna be an unregulated space. So whoever's more compliant, whoever's more open to regulations and transparent is going to attract a lot of those big investors as well, right? So that's, I guess, what I stand for with crypto.com, Crow. So check it out.
Cool. Yeah. And so, again, just to kind of reiterate the question a little bit. So, what altcoins would you feel comfortable buying dip? Well, first off, again, know, Bitcoin can't hold 30,000, which for now it's doing, but we need like confirmation out the ass. Then the bear market could continue. And so I don't think I would be buying now, first off. So, first off, I wouldn't be buying now. I would only start to buy back in once we get a lot more bullish confirmation, higher highs and higher lows, retests of resistance flipping into support, and bullish retests and several times over. And at that point, my picks would be number one, Ethereum. I'm going to cheat a little bit and say I'm going to go with something very safe, Ethereum, and something a little bit more risky, a little bit unproven, Decenter. So Decenter is actually my favorite low cap gem. This is a competitor to Basic Attention Token. This thing has crashed into nothingness. It's currently at just about 5.5 cents. If we just look up the market cap real quick, this, I don't want to take too much time, but $4.6 million market cap. Guys, I'm super tempted to become a whale in this project right about now. I want to buy so much. So look, that's what I would say. I wouldn't buy now. I would wait for bullish retest out the ass, like a lot of bullish confirmation, and then I would go with Ethereum and Decenter.
Agreed, man. I agree. So look, man, we're pushing the hour and a half here. I think we said everything, off our chest. What do you think we should do here? Continue, maybe go live before the end of the day, or what do you want to take a look at besides this?
Well, speak for yourself, man. I could go on for an hour more, but we have been going on for an hour and a half. And guys, we typically try and keep these things to an hour. So whenever we go over time, it's because we want to bring you guys more things that we think are important on our mind. But so I do think we should probably start to wrap it up here, and maybe again, maybe later we could talk about some more stuff. So maybe share some final words here. Anything kind of final you wanted to address, and I could do the same. Maybe we could wrap it up.
Yeah, do not invest with bill money. That's, I think, just to keep it as simple as that. Don't invest with money you need to pay your bills with. I think that's the main theme I'm taking this week. On what's today? Tuesday. Yeah, yep. Tuesday till Friday. We're just gonna focus on that on my end, man. Make sure you have some good risk management, and don't just follow any trades, whatever people are telling you to. Going short and over leverage. That's the main thing I would say.
I would say, guys, stick to a strategy. If you just blindly trade in a market without a clear strategy, you will find yourself making decisions based off emotions, what you're feeling in the moment, which is exactly what you should not be doing when it comes to trading and investing. Like just looking back on what I've done this cycle so far in my approach, the only thing I would have changed is to stick more to a strategy. And look, I have been selling off, and I guess this is kind of selling the bottom, but I did it based off a strategy, because putting in lower lows is bearish confirmation and increases the likelihood that we could enter an extended correction consolidation phase. And so again, like I sold based off a strategy in that plan, not necessarily my emotions. But again, if I would have done things better, or if I would have staked to a strategy more, I mean, I was saying for months that if we lost the 50 daily SMA for Bitcoin, that we could enter a bear market. And I was saying this all the way back in January. And if I would have followed my own advice, I would have sold and taken a lot of profits basically at the top. So because I didn't stick to my strategy, I missed out on a lot of unrealized gains. So folks, I would just say this market is highly, highly, highly volatile. So the way you protect yourself from the risk and volatility of this market is, number one, have a strategy, a plan that you stick to. Know your investment time horizons. Know how much you can diversify. Know how much you can invest. Again, don't spend the rent money, right? So just have a plan, stick to it. Understand also that the people that have been the most successful in this space are the people with the most long-term outlook. again, right now it's definitely possible that we could enter more of a correction consolidation phase. So we'll see. Ultimately, folks, I just want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for hearing our thoughts. Thank you for all your support. You guys are the best. Maybe we'll go live later tonight. We'll see. But you know what? At the end of the day, folks, thank you everyone for listening. I pretty much said all I wanted to say. And so until next time, folks, take care.
I agree, man. I agree. Very good advice. Keep that in mind, guys. Do your risk management. Understand what's going on. Don't just listen to us. Don't just listen to anybody actually. Be confident what you're in. Understand what's going on. Even it's taking a bit more time for you, to read up on things or research some things, that might seem really, out of the picture for you, or whatever the case might be. Keep on doing it, and at one point you actually get to a point where you actually don't need to listen to people. You'll know you have enough logic and reasoning to understand what's happening in the market. So that's what I'm saying, man. You're right. I agree. Right now, Bitcoin's above 30K, pushing, I guess, to 31K now all of a sudden. But obviously, we're going to have to retest this level over here since we just broke below it. So we're going to have some sort of resistance at the, 31,000, or I would say 30,900 and some. If I maybe just hover here, yeah, so the low or the close was 31,000, yeah, 31,000 exactly. So we're going to have some sort of retest going on, and we're back above at least the 30K range. Let's see if Bitcoin actually does hold that. And then again, guys, make sure, stay safe, stay smart, and yeah, man, I see some very positive comments here. Do drugs. People are saying, damn, I thought you said bail money, not bill money. Thanks guys, take care. Thanks guys, Real Adam T. Join your Discord chat. You guys are the S. You know what S is, huh?
Guys are the S.
You guys are the S, man.
yo, can we finish off with my chart here? Just go to my screen real quick. I just want to say
sure, man. I thought you were done, man. Here you go.
This is my final words. This is my final thing.
Go ahead.
If you Wyckoff fucks are correct, it's gonna be the funniest thing ever. I hope you Wyckoff people are right. I'm gonna go in and do some more research on Wyckoff. Wyckoff is kind of like the last stand where we have a final lower low before the recovery. I hope to God you fucks are correct. If Bitcoin can hold 30,000, then there's a fighting chance that you guys could be.
Go back to that screen.
Yeah, here. Yeah, so with a Wyckoff accumulation, there's always one final sell-off, one lower low to shake everyone out before the recovery. And again, I wish I could kind of juxtapose the Wyckoff with the Bitcoin chart, but I've seen Twitter screenshots where like it's following it almost exactly, like it's stupidly uncanny. And so we have, and we put in that lower low. And so if we hold 30,000, guys, if we dip below 30,000 again,
time for the hopium. Time for the hopium.
But like if we hold 30,000, like if we don't drop below 30,000 again, there is some hope that these Wyckoff fucks could carry the day. And I'm sure
could carry the whole crypto space on their back.
Yeah, and look, I hope you guys are right. But again, we've said all our piece. Again, I think the likelihood, this lower low makes it more likely that the downtrend could continue. But I hope you Wyckoff fucks are correct. All right.
There we go. Guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Thank you for all the comments. And we'll see you guys soon here.
Take care. Rent is definitely overrated, man. Yo, look, man, I gotta apply for McDonald's. You gotta help me out, man.
Let me just end this stream, man.
I need a reference. McDonald's is not
gonna hire. Don't ever put me as a reference. I don't know you. I don't know anybody here. All right.
What about Wendy's?